Yeah.
So my sister started tracing our family roots to figure out where we are from and when we crossed over and what part of Africa we were from. And so she actually managed to trace back to the first two ancestors that were sold into enslaved labor. Kevin Suber's philosophy on leadership is real simple. Everybody is a leader. You might be called to lead one person, and that one is called to lead thousands. And if you don't lead the one can lead the thousands, and thousands are left off because you didn't do your part to motivate, to educate, and to lead the one. I promise you, there's one person who needs you to be who you are to turn and unpick the lock of their life, and you're the solution. You are the key. So that'll be for somebody. I'll sign them, so they'll have a signed copy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So if you advise somebody to start reading, for those who haven't read them, should they start with this and then this? Or the journal first and then this?
No, this one first, for sure.
This one first.
Yeah, this one first, because there's enough to not only read.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready for us? Because we are ready for you.
We're ready for them.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
You're ready.
I'm ready.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Hi guys, how you guys doing? Karibuni sana to Glow with Makena as always. This is where we bring in the cream de la creams, and this is where your wishes are my command. So today we have traveled all the way to the US of A. Yes, you guys, I have an amazing author. He's a dad. He is a coach. He's a motivational speaker. I was about to say he's a pastor, but he's going to tell us whether that's right. And he has written so many beautiful books that you guys, kama hujaisoma, you're missing out. So, but I'm going to mix some Swahili, I'm sorry.
As you should.
But hatukusengenyi. But you get it, yeah?
I understand.
You have to learn. You have to learn. But nimemjaribu kumfunza 10 years later bado. But okay, yay, Hemi, welcome, Kev Suber. How do you pronounce your name, baby?
Like that, Kevin Suber.
Oh.
Just the way you said it.
So it's right.
You were right.
Uh-huh.
You're always right.
You're welcome to Kenya Kwanza.
Yeah.
Karibu
I'm happy
sana.
to be here.
Karibu sana.
Karibu sana.
Sema asante.
Asante. Asante.
Yes.
Asante.
Yes.
It's going to take a minute, but I'll get there. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kev, people are going to wonder, huyu mtu amekuja Kenya kufanya, what are you here to do in Kenya? So, kindly tell us what your visit is all about before we get to know about you in person.
Beautiful. So this particular visit is about, I'm actually here visiting an orphanage. I had some business in Zimbabwe, and I realized, well, since I'm over there, let me go up to Kenya to visit this orphanage that a ministry that I supports, right? So, and I went there today, and I'll go again this week before I leave.
Yes.
And it was a lot. 'Cause I'm a big crybaby, so it was kind of emotional.
Tissues, please.
Yeah, tissues, please. But it was emotional, but it was powerful. The resilience of the lady that runs the place, Mama Lucy. Shout out to Mama Lucy, and to to Christine Odiombo here, and George. What is George's last name? He's gonna get me. But they help to coordinate for the ministry, and they interface with the orphanage. So they've been doing the work, and I came in to see what I've been seeing in pictures.
Yes.
And it was good to meet the kids. And then they surprised me because I just had a birthday, so they had a cake for me.
Oh my God, that's cute.
I know.
What was expectation when you're coming to the children's home, according to what you were seeing from the pictures, and what did you see? What was the reality? What was the expectation versus reality? How different was it?
No matter how hard our life is, we're spoiled. There's always something somebody that's going through something that's so much harder than what we're going through. And so, you look at the pictures, and the people visited before. I know all of them, right? We all serve in the same place. But it's just different to step your foot there, to walk into a room, to look at a bunk bed, to look at the number of children, to look at the faces, right? And as crazy as it is, as challenging as the situation that they're in, somebody's going through worse, right? They are eating. There's a roof over their head. It's just different than the roof over my head or your head. There are some that are homeless, period.
Yeah.
No roof over their head. And so it's a moment of I'm okay, and I take some things for granted. And when I say I mean we.
Yeah.
We take things for granted.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's get to know this guy. How, before you even get to know about the passion, how this passion of dealing and helping children came about. Where were you brought up? How was your upbringing?
Yeah, so I was brought up in New Haven, Connecticut. So for my Kenyan brothers and sisters, if you look at America, the northeast corner, in New England, it's one of the southernmost two states. So you have Connecticut and Rhode Island right next to each other. I'm from Connecticut. New Haven is about 40 minutes or so from New York City. So that's where I grew up. 4 seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall. Went to a very old college prep school. My high school was founded in 1660. So it's the old school.
Yes.
And then went from there, went to college at the University of Virginia, studied civil engineering.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. My degree is actually in engineering. Yep. Did that for 15 years and then just went on the entrepreneurial track.
So you've done engineering for 15 years?
15, 1-5. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So how's the transition there?
Transition, it's interesting. God's plan is always a trick. So things that I learned in corporate, I then brought into business of my own, right? So I learned I learned marketing, I learned training, I learned how to network and all of those things. And all of that is just as important, if not more important, for a business person, right? You have a show. You got to market your show, or you're not getting clicks. You're not getting clicks, you ain't getting money, right? So market, right? You're an entrepreneur, same thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Market. Branding. Yeah.
So you can brand.
Yeah. So I'll jump ahead then. So that's a good question. So we have a family of companies. Let me just dive in there, right? So I left corporate, did 7.5 years one place, 7.5 years another place, 15 years, and I'd said, you know what, let me start my own company. And the first company I started was entertainment. So that company, after about 4 or 5 years, I renamed it to my last name. It's really my dad's name. So the company is called the Suber Group. It really is named after my parents. It's to honor them, not to boost myself up, right? But over time, we added other companies, right? So my partners, Michael Perry and Herman Moore. If there's any American football fans here in Kenya, if you watch the Detroit Lions, Herman Moore, NFL, great. That's one of our partners. So the three of us built out these family of companies. So there's a marketing company, there's a branding company, there's a consulting company. So all these companies work together, and everything that I learned in corporate and then things that I've learned since then, we put all that into these different companies. And then there's a nonprofit that helps people to start and grow businesses. Yeah.
So how is it being a black man in States running business, not only in States, but also in other parts of the world?
This is different.
How is it?
I got a very similar question. I got interviewed about a month ago. And so one of our projects right now is in the energy space and electric vehicle space. One of our companies, we actually partnered with 2 other guys that we know from Texas, from Houston, Texas. And that company is in the oil and gas and the energy industry. Right, so we have oil and gas, energy, EV. That's just different, to your point, black folks, right? And so she asked the question, what is that like, being in that space? Sometimes people don't take you serious, but I'm not concerned about people taking me serious. I'm just concerned about doing the work, because the work speaks for itself. And so that is what brought me here to Zimbabwe and then
To Kenya.
To Kenya, yep. Being black and being in the energy space and what that's like, yep. And that's for incredible hosts like yourself, that's a question like, wait, what? You do what? What's that like? Yeah.
So have you missed opportunities just because of your skin tone?
I don't know, because they were missed, right? I know that pretty much can flow in any environment.
Yes.
I've been blessed to be put into many different environments and be okay.
Yes.
Texaco, when I worked for Texaco, which was my second job out of college. In fact, let me go back half a step.
Yes.
So my high school was 650 students. My graduating class was 94 students.
Yeah.
10 were African American. It was the largest amount of African Americans they had ever graduated.
That was in 19?
That was 1981, a few years ago.
Were you guys born? Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, no, they were not born. Right, so 9 out of 10 of them were not born. And the 10th one is like, why am I watching this show? So that's, in college, I went to the University of Virginia. So one of our founding fathers in America, Thomas Jefferson, that's the university that he founded. A very old, traditional, white school. But I graduated from there.
Yeah.
So within uniquely imbalanced racial environments, God has seen me through. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Now, because you've taken us too fast. How was your upbringing? As in, were you brought up in a? How many are you in your family?
Yeah.
Are you brought up in a complete family? By
Yes.
that I mean dad, mom.
Yeah.
And how was it now? Those days compared to now, at least now we can see the improvement.
Yeah.
Now the racism is a bit lesser than it was before.
Yeah.
So kindly tell us how your childhood was like.
So childhood was really cool. Brought up in a, what did you say, a complete family?
Like, okay.
No, is that what the word's
Yes,
used? Complete?
complete,
Yes, I was.
And
So I was
I
brought up in a
quoted that.
complete family.
I quoted that. Don't come at me.
Yeah, don't come at her, because I got her back.
I know.
I was born up in a family that was a family that, so just take it out on me. So anyway,
Yes.
mom and dad were in the house. Mom and dad stayed married until mom died. So that was my family. I'll start at the end and I'll move
How many are
backwards.
you? All right. Okay.
So my mom and dad and brother died within 5 years of each other. That was challenging. So we're gonna come back and visit that because I see the look on your face.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot. So it was 3 of us growing up, and then my brother came much later. So my brother came when I was actually in college, starting my second year in college. That's when he came into the household. So it was 4 of us, right? 2 boys, 2 girls. So my sister Deborah, my sister Gail, she changed her name to Leah, and then Anthony was my younger brother. Yeah. So great life growing up. We grew up in Connecticut, right? So 4 seasons. It was great. We had a good time. Good middle school, good high school. Went off to college. Lots of family around, cousins and god brothers and all that kind of stuff. So it was cool. Within close enough driving distance was a lot of family on both sides of the fence. So my mother's side of the family and my father's side. So the farthest drive was like maybe 9 hours to, say, from Connecticut down to Virginia. And we could get to a whole lot of family on both sides of the family.
Oh, even your grandparents.
Yeah, when they were alive.
US.
They were from the U.S., yes. So you have to go back now. So let's get into that since you
Yes.
brought that up.
Yeah.
So my sister started tracing our family roots to figure out where we are from and when we crossed over and what part of Africa we were from. And so she actually managed to trace back to the first 2 ancestors that were sold into enslaved labor. She found it and went that far back.
How?
DNA, newspapers, birth records, all these things exist, and she was able to trace that all the way back. Yeah.
So where are you from? I'm sure people will be asking. Of course I know, but people will be asking, where are you from?
So all the Kenyans, they know I'm Luo, but I'm not Luo.
Even Ade? Say Ade Maber?
Ade Maber.
My love mount and liver.
I get that all the time. You're Luo. I know you're Luo.
Yeah.
So
and
anyway.
you love Kenya soaps. Let's give you a low name, let me see.
Yeah, give me a Luo name.
I don't know. Unless I give you a middle name. I might insult you not knowing I'm insulting you.
I
I don't know, Luo. I'm not Luo. I don't know.
I know you're not Luo, so that I know. So somebody out there is going to comment and give me a Luo name because I need it. I've got to have it. Because right now, but I like the name I have. I've been named Mfalme. I like that name.
Mfalme.
Mfalme.
Mfalme is Swahili though.
Swahili.
We want a no one.
It's not tribal.
It's not tribal.
It's language. It's Swahili.
Yes.
So we need something to add to it. We need to add to it. Because the Nigerians gave me two names.
Which ones?
They gave me Omowale and Adewale.
Meaning?
The brother has returned and the crown has returned. I'm sorry, the brother has come home and the crown has returned, the king. So none of these people knew
that you really are.
The prophecy over my life was to return to Africa as a father and as a king. None of them knew. I came to Kenya, they named me Mfalme.
Yeah.
I got to Nigeria, they also named me king.
The crown has returned.
The crown has returned. The king has returned. But none of them knew the prophecy that was spoken. Is that not crazy?
It is. No, but shows.
Yeah.
Stars align. They always align. Somehow.
Yeah. Well, God speaks. I'm speaking. Yes. God does that.
Yes.
And he makes it emphatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mfalme, the crown has returned.
Right.
So when did you know that you were really Nigerian? Because you are Nigerian.
Yeah.
How did you? You told me off air, but now you want to know.
Let's get into that.
Because it's quite interesting, actually.
Yeah. So, and without taking up a whole lot of time, but after my first time here, I got back to the States, and so I'll go back a half a step. So
no worries.
People were like, my first trip I went to South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and Ghana in that order, and then went back home. And people are like, oh, which one did you like better? And da da da. And so for me, and no offense to Ghana and South Africa, but the Kenyans and Nigerians showed me the most love and gave me names. Well, actually, the Ghanaians gave me a name too. But they showed the most love, and it's funny because the Kenyans were like, now when you get to Nigeria, they're going to claim you, but your home should be in Kenya.
And through this interview, we are actually adopting you officially.
There it is. Yes. It's done. It's a done deal.
And
they said, we need you here. You're in Mfalme. Everybody needs the king, so you stay here. Yes. So, but when I got home, I was driving to pick up my mail, and I was driving back home, and then there was this overwhelming hole in my heart. Something was missing, and I knew something was missing. And then I started crying to the point where I was crying uncontrollably, and I could no longer drive. I had to pull the car over to the side of the road. And all I could do was call my sister and say, who are we? Who are we? Who am I? Who are we? And because I knew she was in the process of tracing our family, she said, well, the way DNA works is just because I'm your sister, it doesn't mean we have the same makeup. She said, but I'm mostly Nigerian. I encourage you to get your DNA test and figure out who you are. So I did. And then, and I have a very close friend in Nigeria. So I took my test, I got my results, and I was reviewing them, and then I sent them to her, and she goes, Kev, you're like 75% Nigerian.
What's the other 50%?
So there's some Cameroonian, Ghanaian, and then there's some European stuff, because I'm a son, right, of enslaved people. Yeah. And so some of those that enslaved, right, they had babies with those that were chattel, right? So so there's some Irish in me as well. There's some English in me as well. Yeah, but I'm mostly Nigerian.
Mostly Nigerian.
Yeah. So I am Omowale Adewale.
Omowale Adewale.
Yeah.
I hope I said it right. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So all this while, what were you identifying yourself as?
I'm a world citizen. So here's what's interesting.
Yes.
I really more identify with what was prophesied over me, because that is how I'm received now when I go. So what was prophesied over me is I would go out as a father and as a king. There are younger folks all around Africa that call me Papa, Daddy, some in America call me Opa, which is a German name for father. What was the other name? Baba. They call me Baba.
Yeah. Baba means daddy.
Right.
Dad, yeah.
Right. So that's what I get now when I go around.
Yeah.
So I'm a father. That is that's yeah, and that transcends in my travels, it transcends race, it transcends culture. I didn't plan it. I didn't say I want to be this. In fact, the first time that really went forth, I was on top of Table Mountain in Cape Town. And I was praying, and a brother was with me, Dante Gauss, who's South African, Dutch heritage. He said, well, you preach, so go ahead and preach. So I'm way up in the air on top of this mountain, looking over. I can look over to the left, and there's Robben Island, where Mandela was in prison. And I look over to the other side, and I see the mountains where you go over to Johannesburg. And then, so I figure, well, in the middle, if I'm looking up, I'm just looking towards Northern Africa. So in my mind, I was seeing in my mind, well, I'm seeing Kenya and Tanzania and Ethiopia, and I'm seeing Nigeria and Ghana. So I'm seeing all this in my head, but I'm also seeing what is actually in front of me. I can see the bay and I can see Robben Island. And so it was just at that point. Then he says, pray for the fathers. Pray for the fathers. He said, then he said, and they need you as a father. And it stuck.
It happened.
It just stuck.
So that's where the prophecy began.
That's where it was confirmed.
So
it had been before by 5 different people who did not know each other.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, it was a lot.
Yes.
It was a whole lot. And when that happens, you're like, how do you receive that? So you're kind of like, wait, what? No, I'm a businessman. And it's like, no, and God keeps speaking and keeps speaking, and people keep showing up and they can say it. You know, I'll be sitting on a plane and somebody will talk, and 3 minutes into the conversation say, are you a pastor?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because the spirit feels.
They feel it, you know, but they don't feel me, they feel him.
Vilenafa. Oh, as it's supposed to be, sorry. Vilenafa, it means. I can't speak a lot of Swahili, forgive me. But I'm sure a lot of people from US will watch me. Hi guys, we love you from Kenya, thank you very much. We are going to tour US very soon. Yeah. Inshallah.
Come. I'm going to take her around and have her interview some really cool people.
Right. I
know.
I
know some people. I'm going to bring you around.
I know you know people. I mean, I just need my visa and just...
Yeah, and just come. We set you up like 2 weeks in a row. You do 2 interviews a day. Come back with 28 shows.
Woo! And my English. I come here twanging like you guys.
No, that'd be perfect. Yeah, then it starts sounding like... like, where is she from? Kenya or Compton? Where's she from?
Yeah.
Kenya or Kentucky? Where's she from? Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's talk about your book now.
Oh, my book.
Yes.
Why didn't I have a copy sitting here? But anyway.
Why don't you have? But we could have brought a copy for my audience.
Yeah.
We could have gifted
I'm just running away. We're gonna give one to the audience. It'll leave with you. Yep, it'll leave with you.
Yeah. Let's see, you guys. There's a beautiful, beautiful book that he has written.
Book and journal.
So they're actually 2.
Yep. So in the book, so the book is Kingdom Business, License to Lead. It's business. It's a leadership book, right? And I also have an online course now as well. Yeah, called Let the Leader Lead. So it's really, really powerful. And I was glad. Then there's the journal. Yeah. So at the end of the chapters, there's a few questions, right? Yeah. And so you can start the process of reflection to become a better leader. Yes. Then if you want to go all the way in, DEFCON 9, baby, then you get this one, you get the Journey Journal. Yes. And so inside of this one is even more questions that correspond with the chapters. And there's 3 leaders that I respect, and they wrote essays for me. And so those essays are inside of here, right? One of them is somebody I'm going to introduce you to when you come to the States. And she interviewed me on her show about a month ago. Yeah, she's powerful. Y'all are powerful.
You and so are you. And so are you. Yeah. So
and there's an audio book as well because some people just like to listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they can also get it from Amazon.
They can get it from Amazon. Yes. Yeah. I didn't know, but people in Kenya are buying my book and they bought it off of Amazon. Yeah. And started messaging me, I bought your book. Wow. Yeah, it's kind of powerful. It was kind of a trip. So that'll be for somebody. I'll sign them so they'll have a signed copy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So if you advise somebody to start reading, for those who haven't read them, should they start with this and then this? Or the journal first and then this?
No, this one first, for sure. This one first. Yeah, this one first because there's enough to not only read, but then there's questions at the end of each chapter so they can dig in. Yes. Then when they want to go deep, then they can go back and reread the chapter and answer the questions here and really get deep. And so here's the beauty of how I wrote this book. I read Rick Warren's book, Purpose Driven Life. And what I liked about his book, it was kind of big, but it's not huge. But his chapters were short. And you know how you read a book and sometimes you see a big book, you're like, I want to read all that. Right?
Yes.
But what struck me with Rick's book was the chapters were short, so I could just read a chapter or 2 chapters and put it down and come back and read a few more. So I was able to finish the book quickly and efficiently and get a lot out of it because he had short chapters. So that's how this book is written. You can it's 3, 4, 5-page chapters. Short.
So besides the essays that were written for you, is there any other chapter that was written for you, or all the others were yours? Like you wrote them,
that's my book. Yeah, so I wrote everything. Yeah. I've thought about a collaboration book, but I haven't done one yet. I've got about 4 or 5 books in me still to get out.
Let's talk about family and fatherhood. You are such a great dad and husband. So tell us, we see you posting them pale kwa mtandao nini. Guys, he's Kev Suba pale Instagram if you don't follow him. So yes, tell us a little bit about it. How did you meet your beautiful wife? How did it come to be? Your beautiful children?
Okay, so we're going to pause.
All right. Kula pause.
The first time, and I know you asked about the family. I'm going to get to that in 2 seconds.
Yeah, asked about family, wife, kids, nini.
Well, let's do it this way. So the kids are me.
Yes.
So I remember when I was in high school, the first time I tutored, I was like 14 years old. And some of the people I was tutoring were actually older than me. That is my children. They're these super smart, mature kids, 4 different personalities. My daughter goes to the university that I went to, but she does different than what I did there, right? I remember when she first got on grounds, and she was sending pictures, and I'm like, where are you? She's like, I'm on grounds, Dad. I'm like, I ain't never seen that before in my life. It's my school. So she quickly made me know it was her school, not my school, because she has discovered and she's living her life. That's Naomi. That's the oldest one. So Naomi, then there's Isaiah, who's the next in line. Isaiah is like the musical genius. So he loves film and television. The school he went to has a major called Global Arts. And so he could do film or television or music. He started out doing film, television thing, started playing with music. He's been doing beats and stuff, but now he really got deep into music. So that's his lane, which is great because he got a lot of uncles and aunties in the business, so we'll have him plugged in. Then next is Hannah. Hannah is musical Broadway. So, it's in my brain, it started with Hamilton, but I'm sure she'll tell me it started before then. And she'll tell you also she's a bigger Swiftie than her brother. Isaiah says, no, I'm a bigger Swiftie than Hannah. Hannah says, no, I'm a bigger Swiftie. I'm the biggest Swiftie. But anyway, so that's Hannah. And Hannah's a senior now, so she's about to graduate. This is her last year. Hezekiah's a year behind her. So Hezy's the younger. Hezy is robotics and coding and gaming. My sons are like I am. So I grew up a comic book nerd, and they like comics as well.
And nuts.
Yeah. So all my babies are really smart. Met my wife in a bowling alley. I went to a party with some friends, and she looked lost, and I said, you look lost. And she was trying to find a bowling alley. I said, it's over there up those stairs. And so came back later and we talked, and that's how we got connected.
And years later, we are here.
Yeah, here we are.
Like our parents, we're here,
So what else we got? So we got super children. You said a father, a husband. You said a third thing. What was the third thing you said?
No, for now it was about the father. We were about family, all about family.
Family, yeah. So there's family then. There's the nucleus, right?
Yes.
But then there's the others, right? So my first trip to Kenya, so here's a family story. My first trip to Kenya was during COVID. It was in 2020. And so you had to, if you were going from one country to another, you had to take COVID test to enter into another country. And depending on which country, it was 48 hours or 72 hours or, 96 hours. It was one of those 3, right? And so my test results didn't get back in time in order for me to board my flight to go from Kenya to Nigeria. So I had to move my flight to the next day. I was flying Kenyan Airlines, and Kenyan Airlines that next day didn't have an early flight, so I had to switch to Ethiopia Airlines. I just want you to see the movement, right?
Yes.
So I get on now a whole nother airline, so I don't waste a day and a half. I've only lost a day. I get on the flight, and you know how you sit down and you're comfortable, and I was tired. I was exhausted by this time. I was like, oh my God, I'm tired. Whew. And I'm ready to sleep. And you know how you feel somebody looking at you, you feel their eyes? like I know y'all know, you feel the eyes, and it's like hitting you. Like, right? And I look over, and I see this Igbo boy, and I say, boy, just because he's younger than me, he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
And I know he wants to talk, and I just want to go to sleep. But I could feel that little spirit in me saying, you know you need to talk to him. And so we start talking, and then we get into a great conversation. We get to Addis Ababa.
Addis Ababa.
I always mess it up. Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa. Hello, my baby. Hello, my sunshine. Yeah. So anyway, we get there to change flights, and while I'm talking with him, we exchange information. Right, and so Candace gives me his information, I give him my information, and then I get back to the States, and I'm taking a couple of days now, get rid of jet lag and adjust and everything, and about 2 or 3 days later, my phone rings, and it's, Father, have you forgotten your son? I said, oh my God, and it was Candace. Yep, so there's family, and then I have extended family.
Not us.
What's that?
Us, the extended family.
That's it. That's
us,
it.
The extended family.
All's y'all.
Yeah. All right. And you've had the priority and the privilege. Sorry, I just caught my eye with Pepe.
Oh no.
So,
do I need to get?
No, it's okay, sweetheart.
Right, cool.
So you've had the privilege of ministering to different people in different countries.
Yeah.
You've had such big audiences, Kimeru Kidogo, different audiences. Which was your best audience that you ever ministered to or motivated?
So this year has been a really good year. This year has been, in terms of preaching and teaching and some coaching, this year has been an unbelievably transitional in a great way type of year. One of the earlier times I was asked to keynote, well, not early, kind of in the middle, but as I started to feel things shift, was speaking to women's groups and empowering and challenging to go out and be the powerful woman that you are with all your gifts and all your talents and all your ability to maneuver and do what you do because you are who you are. You feel me?
Yes.
So I've been blessed to do more of that this year, and that has been, it's like a dad talking to a daughter, and it's been really fulfilling, really fulfilling. And I can tell that they are getting something out of it as well. And so now I have a bunch of daughters, right?
Yeah.
All over the place, right? So I've got sons, and now I have a bunch of daughters. So those have been really, really fulfilling. I just, a few days ago, got to minister from Kenya back to the States and around the world. So that audience was in Malaysia, it was on Zoom platform. That audience was in Malaysia and across the United States. They were in Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria. So that was really cool. Other than the fact that it was 3 o'clock in the morning for me.
Yes.
Good time for them.
Timings.
Good time for them, but for me it was 3 o'clock in the morning. But it was okay. Like I didn't feel tired because I felt the mission.
Yes.
Right? Just like you. You could do what you're doing nonstop because people need you to guide people like me and so many others through conversations that empowers. So it could be 6 in the morning for you. And it could be 6 at night, and you're just like, come on, let's go. And you're empowered, you're fired up, you're full of energy, you're laughing, you're vibrant. It's like, come on, let's go. That's what. So whether it's 3 a.m. or 3 p.m.,
Yeah.
let's go. Let me preach this word and let
Yeah.
me motivate and let me give what God is going to give
Yeah.
at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And being a father of many, and this guy who always takes his time to listen to people's problems and offer solutions. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever go for therapy yourself? Because
Oh, 100%.
it could be overwhelming at some point, I guess.
Yes, Lord. Yeah, like I had a overwhelmingly significant life change this year.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed because the church I attend in the States has a full-on shout out to Faithful Central Bible Church, Inglewood, California, Pastor Dr. John Paul Foster, who will just text me out of left field. I'm thinking about you, brother. I'm praying for you. So shout out to my family at Faithful Central. Would be remiss to not say, and shout out to all the Father's Children, Pastor Overseer Paul Dillon, and that is why I'm here visiting the children's home. Now, so
Yes.
therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had an overwhelming situation this year, and I brought up Faithful Central because they have a full-blown licensed professional therapist on campus. And I was like, I need help. I'm drowning and I'm taking water in my lungs and I don't need to do that. And I was just on a call earlier today, about 3 hours, about an hour before you and I connected. And the conversation then was this: not until COVID did we realize how unbelievably burdened the world is with mental health issues that we have not addressed. Right? So we get told things like men don't cry, right? And so there's all these roles that men have, and there's all these roles that women have. And yeah, we're supposed to function in certain positions, but maybe not the way that people function so they could cope, right?
Yeah.
But we need to function from a position of power. And we can only do that when we're operating in our gifts. And gifts are things that God gives. And a gift is meant to be given away, not to be put on the shelf. Right?
Yes.
And so if we're not operating that way, it is so difficult. And we start to implode. We start to not be who we can be. I realized that I was not who God made me to be. I'm the one who comes into a room and I sit in the front row because I want to learn it all. I want to hear up close and personal. And I was starting to come in and sit in the back row and maybe not be focused and be thinking about everything other than being in the moment. One of the better things that therapy can do is to get you back to yourself so you can be in the moment, because nothing's promised. You got to be in the moment. Nothing's promised.
Okay. I feel like you're talking to any guys. I wish you were here and you're here with us. You are here with us
They are
virtually.
here with us.
Yes. All right. So as we close up, this children's home that we've talked about, by any chance, is there a child that you have adopted for yourself?
From the home or in general?
From let's first specify with the children's home.
So there's this one boy.
Okay, let me give you both.
Yeah.
Either in general, somebody that you've just, a kid that you've noticed, oh, you don't have parents and I think you deserve this love and I have so much love to give. So
Right.
come to me, my son, my daughter.
So I have an unusual capacity for love, which you just said.
Yeah.
And that's in my household as well. So I laugh because people at my church never really knew how many kids we had. We had 4, but they never knew if we had 4 or 5 or 6 because there were always extra kids around, and we would just take kids in. Now, specifically to where I went today, at the kids' home, there's this one kid that I gravitated to. Again, it's my first exposure to him, but I was like, this one's mine.
Wow. So you're going to officially and formally adopt? Legally, let me say legally.
Won't do that because his life is here and my life is not here yet. Okay. But when I say that, so like I mentor people, right? When I say this one is mine, that means I'm going to do all I can to make sure this boy, this girl succeeds, right? And so It's like I get knit in the spirit with them, and I'm tracking and monitoring, and when they start to struggle, I feel it.
Yeah.
You know, that thing.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Do you guys understand? Of course you
Yes,
do.
they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
All right. So, a hand that giveth is a hand that receiveth, and we want to ask, what is your net worth, sir? You have so much going on, and you're giving a lot as well. So, what is your net worth?
Wow, net worth.
Your net
I've never been
worth.
asked that question before, but here's what's so funny,
Yes.
and I'm not going to answer it, but I'm going to answer it this way. I was looking for something online one time,
Uh-huh.
and then I was Googling somebody, and it brought me to their net worth. And I said, I wonder if they are guessing what my net worth was. And yes, they did. So for you and your audience, if you Google what is Kevin Suber's net worth, you will see something online.
Now, we want to hear from the horse's mouth.
They will not.
Kind of lot umeshindwa, eh?
Yeah, but the reason why I said that is it's accurate. So
It's almost accurate from there.
Yeah, so they can do some homework. They can do some homework.
Men of God do not lie.
Right, but men of God do not answer every question either, do they?
Yes, they do.
Actually, they do not.
Truthfully.
When they answer a question, they answer truthfully. But I promise you, they do not answer every question. Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah.
All right. So please, for the Kenyan audience, for the United States audience, for the Nigerian audience, actually, you've already said that you're a world citizen. So for the world, if there's any business, what else does Kev do, of course, besides the motivation? What are the businesses that maybe you'd like to plug here? And do they have like social media handles?
Right. So if they want to follow me, they can follow me at KevSube, KEVSUBE, on X, formerly known as Twitter. Same thing, KEVSUBE. I post a lot more on Facebook, my business page, which is Kevin Suber ING, and on Instagram than I do on Twitter and LinkedIn. But I am on Twitter and LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn, I'm 2-3 times a month posting there. But Instagram, they can see me post something 2-3 times a week.
And stories, nini, happy birthday, my God! Happy birthday to you.
+1, we got a +1. There's a photographer here that I've seen shoot some of my sons and daughters, and I was like, I'm gonna shoot with him while I'm over there. So I'll shoot with him on Thursday. You know how Kenyans
Who is he?
You know Alvin shot it?
Yeah, Alvin.
You know Alvin? Alvin shot it?
I think I'll check him out on
Check him out.
Instagram and then I'll see what they know.
Yeah, you might know him. You know everybody.
Oh, wow. Yeah, do something with him actually.
But so I'll shoot with him on Thursday. Just I'm like, I'm here. I'm in Kenya, you know, because the Africans, and this is what I love what y'all do, Pan-Africa. Most Africans, you have a birthday, and it's actually cool to do this.
Yeah.
Let me take a birthday shoot and see how I compare. So over the years, I can just watch the pictures, right?
Yes.
We don't really do that in the States.
When you're 22, you can check the 21-year-old ones.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else that maybe you'd like to tell us, something I haven't asked you that you'd like to address?
Well, you mentioned the plug. So I do have an online course that is a mixture of some of this and the next book I'm currently writing, right? So the online course is Let the Leader Lead. And it brings you through the 4 pillars, which is in here. Yeah. It also brings you through the 3 imperatives, which will be in the next book. And just different things, you know, how does a leader pick his territory? How does a leader lead? How do you overcome challenges? All those kind of good things that anybody who leads. And let me say this to you and to the audience, because there's a lot of philosophies on leadership. Kevin Suber's philosophy on leadership is real simple. Everybody is a leader. You might be called to lead one person, and that one is called to lead thousands. And if you don't lead the one can lead the thousands, and thousands are left off because you didn't do your part to motivate, to educate, and to lead the one. So we have to build ourselves up to become who we need to become to lead, sometimes just one, so that the one can lead thousands. Yeah.
And you've got so much wisdom. Wait, I have a question. Did you have to go to school and study leadership? Or do you have somebody who leads you as well? How do you do it? You've got so much wisdom. And from what we've talked about, you've
Yeah.
mainly been into the business space, the
Yeah.
corporate space. So how did you transition?
How did it
to-
happen? Yeah.
Yes, you're very wise and such a good leader.
You know, I failed enough. And so it's like, okay, don't do that.
Yeah.
But more importantly,
You
how
failed
do I
enough.
not do that? Right? So you've heard, you know, fall 7 times, get up 8, right? You just gotta get up one more time, then you fall, right? And so that's really where I got it from. Failure is not final, right?
Right.
And so the question is, what am I learning by that incredibly challenging situation? Which is why I wrote the chapter on overcoming challenges, right? There's always going to be something that's challenging, right? Now, the second part to what you said, the second part of the answer to what you asked, I've got people that pour into me, right? So I have an acronym for leadership called Next Up, NEXTUP. N, your time to lead is now. EX, you must become an expert in a particular area. T is for time. It is the only resource that can't be recreated. When you have wasted time, it's over, it's done, it is gone. Manage your time. U is for under. So this is what to answer your question.
Yes.
So you should always be under someone. That is, you should have a leader. You should be under the authority, under the teaching of somebody else. But you should also make sure somebody is under you in the same way. That's the best way to learn, and it's the best way to lead. And then the P, through every challenge you've ever been through,
Yeah.
the P is P cubed. You're perfectly prepared for your purpose. Everything that has happened to you, good, bad, or indifferent, it is all to make you who God said you are. You're perfectly prepared for your purpose.
Your favorite verse?
What's that?
Your favorite Bible verse?
I still didn't hear.
Your favorite Bible verse? Oh my God!
Oh.
Language barrier.
Language
See my life.
barrier. Sorry.
Favorite? It's okay.
Um,
Favorite Bible verse, yeah. Or the verse that you.
yeah. So God takes no pleasure in those that shrink back. We are not called to fall back. We're called to move boldly. God takes no pleasure in those that shrink back. That is my favorite.
So sure, don't give up.
Don't give
You're
up.
not called to go back.
Be bold. Be bold in who God made you to be, because God takes no pleasure. A lot of times we feel like, oh, it's a false humility sometimes, or it's a fear of, well, I know I should say something right now, but you don't say it.
Yeah.
God doesn't like that. Scripture tells us He takes no pleasure in those that shrink back. And we want God to be pleased, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so be bold.
Yes.
This one's bold, y'all. She's bold. Be bold like her. But be gracefully bold,
Yeah, true.
right?
True.
Second, so there's another one I like. Now I sat here and think
No
about
problem.
it. Peter is talking, and he says, always be prepared to tell people the source of your joy, but do it with gentleness and respect.
Always be prepared to tell people the source of your joy,
But
but
do.
always do it.
With gentleness and respect. One translation says with meekness and respect, right?
Yes. So you're not like bragging.
Right. So, or some folks in ministry, we say, we're not going to Bible thump you. We're not going to beat you over the head with a Bible. So if you ask me, I will tell you, because there are many times I'm actually going through hell, but I have a joy because of the source of my joy. And sometimes people know what I'm going through, and they're like, Sue, you should not be looking like that. Why are you happy? And I said, well, because God got me.
He's the source of your joy.
He's the source of my joy, and I can tell them with gentleness and respect.
Oh my God.
Come on, somebody.
Come on. Say that. Oh. Sorry, I got lost.
She got lost. She got lost. She got gracefully lost.
All right, Kev, kindly passing short to anyone who follows you and for the newbies who will now love you from today, you know. Yes, for those who are gonna see this. Send love, parting shots, a message to them, word of
So
encouragement.
I love y'all for coming. I appreciate everybody who's watching right now for following Grace. Right. Continue to live a life empowered, live a life of boldness, seek knowledge and wisdom, and be who God called you to be. I promise you there's one person who needs you to be who you are to turn and unpick the lock of their life, and you're the solution. You are the key. That's what I got to say. Peace and God bless. I love y'all.
This was so deep. I literally felt that you are talking to me. Like literally, you talked to me today, and I hope he talked to you as well. You guys, thank you so much, Kev, for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Anytime you're in Kenya, please, tutakutafuta. We are gonna look for you. Anytime we are there, you are our dad. We know your house is open for us, and thank you so much for that.
Yes.
And thank you so much, guys, for watching. As always, I'm your girl McKenna. Yes, I know this was deep, but remember the conversation does not end here. Cash Grace on Instagram. Cash Gracie on Instagram is the place to get me any more questions you have for me or for Kev. Tulizane pale kwa DM, we will definitely answer. And guys, Kev, give us an assignment. Who do you think deserves this book? What should they do? Give us a challenge. Let's be creative. Give us a challenge.
You're going to write the first time you were placed in leadership or the first time you were afraid to lead. First time you were afraid to lead. You're going to inbox her, right? So now you know you don't have to be afraid to lead, right? Because God takes no pleasure in those that shrink back. So you're going to lead boldly, right? You're going to inbox
Cash Gracie.
Cash Gracie.
Yes.
Cash Gracie. I'm like, what is it, IG? Cash, Kesh, Gracy.
Yes.
Because we love you. That's why. You're going to inbox her, and she's going to pick one, and you're going to get a signed copy of my book.
I'm going to give you this, guys, for free. Imagine. And if you want more, kindly, Amazon is the place to get them.
And they can even get, so iTunes or Amazon, they can get the audio
iTunes
book
as well. Huh?
Yep, iTunes or Amazon, they can get the audio book.
Yeah.
Audio, yep.
Until next time, guys, I hope you guys were blessed like I was. Thank you so much. God bless. Good night. Oh, by the way, we're shooting this at night, so good night. Yes.
Good night. Good day. Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Oh, American people, it's
morning.
Evening.
And
Morning.
morning afternoon over there. Yeah.
It's afternoon.
Yeah.
So good afternoon to you, our people. All right, we out.
We out. Cheers.